the minor controversy, it bothers me, particularly what the mayor said, finding out that he has not talked to any of you that I know, and I only question what gives him the right to be the spokesperson for you. I certainly don't take that liberty, and it's not my business what he does one way or another, but to make a judgment and speak for this group of victims, I don't think's right. That bothers me, and there's nothing I can do about it. But I just, again, maybe I didn't say it to you that day, but I had a lot of mixed feelings the night before. I really didn't sleep well, and I have my own pain to deal with like you do. And I thought it's going to bring it all back, and I'm not some kind of guru. I'm not Billy Graham. I don't have any answers. I fight my fight every day, and I was a little hesitant. I'll tell you, I was charged for 2 days. It was a humbling experience. It was a wonderful experience to see how you have dealt with your problems and your pain and what you've done for each other. It really energized me leaving there, and I felt so good after meeting you and seeing that there is life after a tragedy, because I meet so many victims who don't make it, and it destroys the rest of their life. And you have certainly, the focus of what we're doing is that the community of Killeen and you are the blueprint for survival in this country, and you are a testimony to the human spirit. So,
yay!
My name's Ken Olson, and I'm a police officer and an investigator with the city of Killeen.
Okay, is it O-L-S-O-N?
O-L-S-O-N, yes.
That's what I thought. Ken, could you briefly just describe what went on with you that day at the cafeteria, what your role was in this deal?
Okay, I'm going to start back from when I actually started.
Quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Quickly, I was basically coming back from a drug raid, and we just recovered about a pound of methamphetamine, heard the call go down, and we're in the immediate area. I drove my unmarked vehicle up into the parking lot and found out what was happening, and then saw the gunman, and then fired a shot at him, in which I hit him on my first shot from about 50 yards away. And then I entered the building because it didn't incapacitate him totally at that time, and I exchanged gunfire along with Al Morris. We exchanged gunfire with him, and then he finally ran low on bullets and committed suicide.
In terms of what went on there in America's Most Wanted, what do you see as the good or the bad aspects of America's Most Wanted telling this story? What do you think there is to be learned?
I think it's going to give the nation a view of how the city reacted to it and what actually really happened there. You know, at least give them an idea of what happened and how that kind of situation can really, bring a community together.
Okay, Mary, if you could you just tell us briefly what your experience was in Luby?
As far as what happened, or?
Right, I understand you were, well, you could tell me.
Okay, we had gone there for Boss's Day to honor our boss, who's a great guy, and we were just finishing lunch, giving him some gifts from all of us, and the truck came crashing through. And some of my original reaction was the guy lost his brakes. What an embarrassing situation. And just kind of stood there watching to see what he would do. And when he got out of the truck, and I really am not familiar with guns, so there was a gunshot, but it still didn't register with me because I'm not a gun person. And somebody, I believe it was my boss, but it could have been someone else, said, "Hit the floor now." So I did, and the firing just started, and it just seemed like hours, and it continued. And he just kept circling and shooting and circling and shooting and making some comments, negative comments about Bell County and women. And when he started with the women comments, I kind of thought he was after women only, or that his wife was in there or something and they had a fight and he was after her, looking for her or something like that. But when he kept going around, it was obvious it wasn't just a person he was after.
And in terms of what was your experience with him vis-a-vis when the police showed up?
At the time, I couldn't close my eyes. I felt like if I did, I was a goner. So I just kept them open, and I don't know how many rounds he had made, but he was coming back towards our end, and I knew enough to know that there was no one around me alive except me. I was the nearest shot. And he caught my eye, and I caught his, and he said something under his breath, or something negative. I saw him pull I guess it's a trigger, not the trigger, but the clip thing in the back, and start walking towards me. And I basically said, "Goodbye, family. I love y'all." And it was at that point he was, I'm not good on distances, but I'd say 10 feet maybe from me when the police came barreling through that window. And I just let out all the air in my body and said, "My angels are here." And I knew it was going to be okay because he immediately turned and he was preoccupied with them. So I was no longer a target of any sort. And I truly believe that those policemen saved my life.
What did you see? Where were you, and what did you see when it started happening?
We saw the pickup come through. We saw sitting towards the back on the table next to Tommy that broke the window out, and we heard this crash and saw the pickup come through, and we thought he'd had a heart attack or his brakes had failed him or something. And then he started shooting out the window. Well, we knew something's up. And when he got out the window and when he came out the door and started shooting, somebody hollered, "Get under the table," and that's where all we got. All of us jumped under the tables. But he was going along there, they said, turning tables over, shooting some of them, even turned the tables over. But after seeing him come back there twice, we knew that if we didn't get out, he was going to get us. So that's why I said, if, I got shot in the back, that wouldn't be half as bad because I wouldn't know it. But when he leaned over you and shot you in the face or the head or the chest, you knew he was going to do it. And it would have been a lot worse being done that way.
But you saw parts of him?
Just his legs, part of his legs down, and you could see, how his legs would turn from one side to the other as he shot. He was shooting from one side to the other. And then when I got up, I never did look back because I knew if I did, he'd probably really shoot me then. Because they said if anybody looked at him or said anything, that's when he really shot. So when I went out the window, like I said, I cut my foot. Never did know it until like it bled to death before they got a tourniquet on it. But I didn't even know I'd cut it. I guess I was in shock or something.